Hello, I'm Bridget Marrison.
And I'm Jo Carter.
And welcome to Day 7 of the Wimbledon Championships. An unusual Monday today. We had 3 third-round men's matches to finish. Stan Wawrinka, Feliciano Lopez and Kei Nishikori all went through after their matches had not happened or been suspended on Saturday.
Yeah, and actually Nishikori was in a very unusual position because whereas Stan Wawrinka and Feliciano Lopez, their matches were cancelled on Saturday, Nishikori had actually started his match against Simone Bolelli, so it was quite an unusual position to be in, having started the match but then not play until Monday.
Absolutely. But one player who didn't suffer from that was Andy Murray. He was up on centre court, had the benefit of the roof today, and he's through to the quarterfinals for the 7th successive time, and he hasn't even dropped a set.
No, he was very impressive today. He had they had a little bit of a delay with the rain, and the roof came over, and Murray came out, and he struggled a little bit to start with, just to settle into his rhythm. Anderson managed to break him back, but ultimately it was a relatively straightforward victory.
Yeah. And so the player that he will meet next is Grigor Dimitrov, who came through on number 1 court in his match, and that match will be played on Wednesday. So tomorrow we go back down to the bottom half of the men's draw, and we'll see Rafa play Nick Kyrgios of Australia, and probably the match for me will be the Raonic-Nishikori match. And what about the women today and tomorrow?
There are actually a couple of upsets in the women's draw today. Barbara Zalivova-Stricheva followed up her upset of Li Na and beat Caroline Wozniacki in straight sets today. And also Agnieszka Radwanska, the 2012 finalist, was also beaten in straight sets 6-3, 6-love by Katerina Makarova. So that leaves just Simona Halep, the 3rd seed of the top 4 seeds, left in the women's draw. We've actually, history was made today. We've got 3 Czechs in the quarterfinals for the first time in the Open era. Obviously Zalivova-Stricheva, Petra Kvitova and Lucy Safarova. But for me, the performance of the day was from Eugenie Bouchard, the 20-year-old Canadian. She beat Alizé Cornet, who obviously beat Serena on Saturday, in straight sets. It was a tough match for Eugenie. You know, it was quite close, but a very, very good win.
Yeah, and she's also so mature off court as well, isn't she? When she was fielding questions afterwards, she's answered the question a number of times about where she gets her name from, what the royal connection is, and she said it's her mum who's the royal fan. But she handles all those questions so well. So really, really looking very, very mature and really composed on and off court.
Absolutely.
And what are your picks for the match tomorrow?
Perhaps not the glamour match tomorrow, but the match that I'm quite intrigued by is Simona Halep against Zarina Diaz of Kazakhstan. Both players very much on the rise. Halep, before she won her first title in Das Hertogenbosch last June, was ranked number 45. She's now won 7 titles and is number 3, so she's had a sensational 12 months. Diaz, not quite so impressive, but at the end of 2013 she was number 163 in the world, and she's now up to number 72. They've met once before in Melbourne this year, and Halep won in straight sets. I expect Halep to win tomorrow, but could be an interesting one.
Yeah, okay. And you can stay up to date with all the news by following us on the Tennisheads website, or why not sign up for our free newsletter? Or if you fancy and you think that you know a lot of Wimbledon history, then why not go on to iTunes or Google and download the Tennisheads quiz?